Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Hope you're all doing well. Joining me to give a little bit of post-game sort of reaction to the New Zealand Warriors Sydney Roosters clash, which just finished not long ago. And wet weather conditions up there at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland, very tough weather conditions there. But joining me actually it's been a while since I've had Hold the Ball on my channel. Actually, it's been a very long time. It's been overdue, and I'm looking forward to jumping on his channel next week on the Wednesday night, so I'll be jumping on his channel as well. But Hold the Ball, how are you going? Before we get into the game, how are you going?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, man, thank you again for having me on. I wish it was really in better circumstance.
Yep.
And yeah, that's right. Looking forward to having you on my channel Wednesday. But obviously, we've got this game here to dissect, so we'll get straight into it. But thanks, bro, for having me. But yeah, wish it was with a victory. But anyway.
Yep. So hello to everyone in the chat here. So we've got Jason Reed and we've got 5-star Lexi. How's it going to you guys? Hope you're all doing well. But yeah, boy, that game was very tough. It was a very tough, grinding affair, especially that first half. What were your thoughts on the way the game started? Because obviously the Roosters, they got an early penalty goal. It was 2-0 for a majority of the game. And what were your thoughts on the start of this game in particular?
Yeah, look, I thought how do I okay, so my thoughts on the game in an early exchanges was it was gritty, in all honesty. I really thought it was probably not going to get ugly, but I really thought the Roosters would have done more, but I was really surprised when we actually had more of the pill, and I think overall we had more of the pill, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, early exchanges, I just think we could have done a lot better. I mean, to be fair with you, we had the ball a lot more in their line, but there was just no, I don't know, sense of creativity. There was no urgency, and I suppose, albeit it doesn't help with all the injuries, but still, again, to earlier on to still be there or thereabouts in regards to being in their own half and still not making anything. Geez, it was disappointing there, Fanatics. Very disappointing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think the way we started this game in particular, obviously the Roosters I think they applied a lot of pressure. I think they could have probably had a couple more points on the board. Personally, I think to only be 2-0 up after the first couple of minutes. Maybe our defence is probably the only thing that pretty much kept us in the game. But what were your thoughts just purely on our defence at the start of this game? Because I think that was the only thing that was keeping us from trailing by more points than just the 2 points, the penalty goal.
Yeah, well, look, our defense was good, right? I mean, Obviously we all know the end result. So my question is, was it really good? I still think it was, but I think again, just the fact we let them in some moments there was really disheartening. But yeah, overall our defense was good. It was. But I don't know, Fanatics, when the opposition's score 14 on you, what do you sort of do, Fanatics?
Yeah, anyway, so I mean that first half was just a tough grinding sort of affair. It's pretty defensive orientated there. So I had tries to Nat Butcher and Saliti Tupanua. There was only 2 tries in this game, and conversions. Sualiti with two for 4 conversions there. But halftime was like 8-0. What were your general thoughts at halftime? Do you think at 8-0 down we could still make a bit of a run into that second half, or do you think it was just going to be very difficult because our attack was just not clicking? Like our attack was, we've had a few opportunities on the Roosters line especially, but it's just not clicking.
Yeah, look, heading into the sheds, I definitely thought that the Warriors were up against it, but I also had a bit of optimism. I really thought that, obviously we'll be able to mitigate some of the errors and some of the, I suppose, the deficiencies that were on display absolutely against the Roosters team. And I thought that coming into the second half, we'll be able to actually execute a lot better, than what we have been. Now, granted, obviously, I suppose we got to give light to this, the fact that half the squad was shuffled around, minutes before kickoff. Obviously, I'm exaggerating here, but still, Adam Vanor-Blake at prop, at lock, Curran at second row when he was initially named at lock. There was a few things happening. Obviously, Sifa Kola, ahead of Galani going, I believe. Yeah. So look, a few pieces moved here and there, and that's just due to injury. But again, just to get back to your question quickly, I really thought we'd come back I thought in the second half we'd come back a better team. I really did, and yeah, it sucks. It does. It's devastating. It sucks. It really does.
Yeah, so just reading a comment here, some people are commenting about the refereeing here. So Darren's saying, man, I'm over the bad calls. So there were actually some few calls that went against us, especially James Tedesco knocking the ball on, which the referee said it was I think he said it was a knock back, or he didn't even freaking look at it. But well, what were your thoughts on the officiating in this game? Do you think the officiating played a part? Because obviously we all got upset around the officiating against the Storm, but I thought we had some calls going against us, but we ourselves, made it harder for ourselves. What are your thoughts on that, Hold the Ball?
Yeah, look, I won't lie. We definitely had some calls go against us. I think that Peary 40-20 was out in the full. You can't change my mind there, unless you show me definitive camera angle that shows definitively that it went in touch. I still think it's out in full. So there's the Tedesco bomb, and drop ball. Sorry, and I think Egan Butcher. No, Butcher dropped it. Look, there was a few calls that went against us, shoulder chart as well. But you touched on it, Fanatics, and I think what you said is correct. We still had opportunities, and we still didn't take our chances. So, as sore as we can be looking at the refs, I still think the onus in this game was us. We still had plenty of opportunity to turn things around, and we didn't. This is a game here where if we're looking at the referees, and blaming them, I think we're in the wrong. All right, the Storm game, I think there was a definite case, absolutely. But this game here, you can't tell me that. We had so much ample opportunity. I'm sorry, not today. Sure, the ref calls were annoying. Don't get me wrong, absolutely. But I'm not going to let the refs dictate the game today. We're our own enemies here, and the fact that the refs calls went against us, and we still decided to drop the ball, penalty, undisciplined, missed tackles. No, well, it's self-fault. Sorry, but I'm not going in the way of the refs here. It is what it is. If we're going to drop the ball, sorry, Fanatics, we're going to drop the ball and not show any respect. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. Well said there. And from 5-star, a comment from 5-star, Lexi says Jackson Ford sadly bombed 2 tries. So what are your thoughts on that? Because in that second half, we had an ample amount of ball. Stats were all in favour of the Warriors. Position wise, running meters as well. Especially you can see from what I've seen here, read on the NRL website, that the stats favoured a lot of the Warriors. With ball position there, and we had a few chances. Down the Roosters line, we bombed a couple of opportunities. So, what are your thoughts on that personally? Because you got to take the opportunities against teams like the Roosters, teams like Melbourne, Penrith, and we didn't do so. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, look. To be fair, from a fan's perspective, it absolutely sucks. I'm sure Jackson Ford isn't happy, right? It's not like he intentionally dropped the ball there. But again, I suppose that's kudos to the Roosters for being desperate enough. They were just more desperate enough. They were more hungry enough. They were better than us. What else can I really say? It sucked. But again, Fanatics, as we know, the general theme of this game here was just not good enough, and just, again, not applying pressure, and again, just not respecting that ball enough. If you're not going to hold the ball, you're just going to pay consequences, and it is what it is. That's it.
Yeah, and a comment here from Dadzo, he's saying Ford was overrunning his lines. So, what are your thoughts on that comment?
Oh, look, I suppose to a degree he was possibly, but I'd argue and say that I suppose there was just a point in the game there where I think the halves weren't even in sync with each other. I think Shaun Johnson and Dylan Walker were off. And, instead of working in tandem, they one was doing this, the other was doing that, and again, solely relying on Shaun Johnson to kick the ball again. It's this game here reminded me of 2022 Fanatics. I don't know about you, but this took me back to last year. This was ugly. This was, in my opinion, our worst game we've ever played this year. It's a compliment in the sense that it could have been a lot worse, but still. It is what it is. Now, granted, look, I'm sure we can touch on it as well. We've got injuries galore. I get it. But it wasn't good enough, though. It really wasn't. And again, I want to go there one more time, but we had so much chances. We really did. And we absolutely butchered it, bro.
Yeah, and Danzo's saying here that Roosters better team tonight. We just lack the strike. Too many players out. I can sort of get where everyone's coming in. I know everyone would like to point to the fact that we've had a lot of players out. But in saying it, what Webster said is you can't put the, you can't say that, those are the reasons why we lost the game. Yes, it affects the combinations. You can see our attack was just not functioning today. Our attack for me just looked, like it was just not there. But saying that the players who had out was the main reason we lost today. I mean, we had the players on the field to do the job, in my opinion. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that hold the ball? Because I know we can point out and say a lot of players out and we're fully fit. We had a short turnaround and all that. But, at the end of the day, we had our opportunities in this game. So, what are your thoughts on that comment there?
Yeah, look, just like my stand as well, like the Warriors, just not up to task tonight, Fanatics. So apologies for that. It's falling around everywhere. Look, yeah, look, I definitely back the philosophy that Andrew Webster's saying, right? Next man up.
Yep.
And that's right. Regardless of injuries or not. Obviously, you can't replace the likes of Tohu Harris. I want to make this clear. You can't replace the likes of Harris, Tohu Harris, Jazz Tevanga, Te Maire Martin, Nicole Cookstad. I get it. All right. So I'm not here to say that the players that are coming through are just as good as them. No, I'm not. But what I'm saying though is that when you have a player who's coming up, you just expect him to just somewhat deliver, somewhat do the job. And that's right. As a whole, we didn't. And I'm not going to point fingers at individual players. I just think collectively we were poor and we fell apart. And when the going got tough, we couldn't meet the demands, Fanatics. So yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts on it. I mean, there's no excuses. I really thought that we would do a lot better than we did, Fanatics. Respectfully.
Yep. So just a comment here from 5 stars. Our attack was off tonight. I thought Johnson would run more. Shout to hold the ball, he said. So yeah, look, well, what are your thoughts? Because our obviously our attack is I think our attack's been pretty good so far this year. I think we've scored a couple of tries and a couple of points there and then, but today, obviously in the weather conditions, we just didn't, execute what we wanted to do. So yeah, well, what are your thoughts on that? On Sean Johnson, do you think he should have ran the ball more, or is it not really his?
No, look. I think Johnson has played so beautifully this season for me to critique his. I get it though. I'm not gonna go against those who say he should have run. I get it. I absolutely understand where they're coming from. However, I just think for mine in this instance here, I think he was trying. It's not like Sean Johnson didn't get the ball out. He was doing his own thing. Again, context considered with the rain and all. I thought he tried all right. He tried what he could, but I just really think there was a disconnect between him and Walker. Walker at 6 is good for a little bit. I still think he's better off the bench, but in saying that, what do you do when you have injuries? What do you do when you can't pick Te Maire Martin, when you can't pick Nicole Klugstad, Tevanga, Toy Harris, Metcalf, if you will? There's not much you can do, So, yeah, as for Sean Johnson is running, I don't know, Fanatics. I mean, realistically, he could have run, but then the weather's probably not one for it. I will say, though, that wet weather footy, I thought would have fell more in our favour. So, again, disappointed.
Yeah, and I thought I think the halves just didn't combine too well today. I think Dylan Walker, you can see he's trying his hardest, but that didn't help as well. I think he's been playing well, Dylan Walker. He's played well so far when he's come in, but I think that combination didn't work out really well today. And here's a comment here from Misfit HD. Feels like a genuine off game for the boys. We learn and move on to the next. So, yeah, well, what are your thoughts on that comment there? Because I think against the Storm, we played well if it was there, but obviously we had no fully fit bench and had a few decisions go against us. But obviously today, personally, I just thought we weren't good enough. But what are your thoughts on that comment?
Yeah, look, I agree. I absolutely agree there with their comment. It was definitely an off day, but an off night, sorry. But it's one of those games where you just want to forget it. Learn from it, absolutely rectify, try and do better what you couldn't in this game. And yeah, nicely said, as nicely summed it up in the end there. They did with these, just look into next week and that's all we can do there, Fanatics, I suppose.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Magic round, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the changes that we had coming into the late changes? Obviously with Fanua Blake and at lock. I mean, it was a bit of a strange call, strange decision because usually I'd back Webster in, but I was a bit surprised by that. I thought the likes of Going would get a debut off the bench, but that wasn't the case. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Hold the ball.
I will say this.
Yeah.
And I think some of us may miss this, and some of us may not miss it. But Fanua Blake played a whole 80 minutes of league.
Yeah.
He actually played 80 minutes of league, and I think we're gonna. And I think in this loss we're probably gonna forget it. But let's he played 80 minutes of league. So does that mean that in the future, Fanua Blake may play more games at lock? Dare I say it? Again, obviously, I'm not saying he's going to replace Toy Harris, but he played 80 minutes. I've never seen Toy Harris, Fanua Blake play 80 minutes. Besides nearly playing it that game last year where we were down on troops and I think we lost. I'm not sure what team it was, but yeah, look, the selection was odd, but yeah, I don't know. What can Webster do? Again, with troops falling left, right, centre, and the NRL giving us 3 games in 11 days. What do you do, Fanatics, right? That's how you say thank you to the Warriors as well, by the way, obviously, as you know. That's how you say thank you. You have the bunker in the refs with the crappy rules, and then you also slap on three games for us in 11 days, have to travel back to Australia and back to Australia again. What do you do, Fanatics? What do you do?
Yeah, so just this comment here from 5-star. He's saying, Johnson was definitely trying. I just thought he'd take the line more, especially in the wet. Could have slipped through the line, but respect the bro's opinion. We just didn't click tonight. So, yeah, he's just summing up what he just said around Shaun Johnson there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's not. Like I said, I definitely don't. I definitely hear what people like themselves are saying. Absolutely, I do. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Shaun Johnson himself has even said it right in the quote, basically saying, he's not a forward or whatever it was, So I don't know what do you say, I'll tell you something though. Volkman looked good in the New South Wales Cup. He is. I'll tell you what. He's a bit of a twinkle toes, isn't he? So.
Yeah, he I think watching his game this year in New South Wales Cup. Obviously, it's a different competition, and NRL is a step up. But his goal kicking is pretty good as well. So what he brings in attack and what he does with the goal kicking, especially. I mean, one of the things I watched was the hooker as well for the Warriors New South Wales Cup side. He was quite impressive today too.
Paul Roach, eh? Paul Roach?
Yeah, Nathaniel Roach's brother. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Paul Roach he wasn't bad, wasn't he? He was not bad at all, Fanatics. He was good. I'll tell you what though, the only thing that goes against Volkman is that he's a halfback, and Shaun Johnson is obviously the halfback for the Warriors. So that's just the only downfall. But I'll tell you what, and I don't mean to open a can of worms here, but contract time will be interesting for Shaun Johnson. That's what I'm going to say. Sorry. I've just said it there. So obviously the fans will probably go wild in the comments now, but that's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. We'll probably have to do something like a discussion on that some other day. But, Shaun Johnson off contract at the end of the year. So that's very interesting. But I've heard talks that Montoya's re-signed. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but there's talks around that. It's not confirmed, but some pages, spread a rumor around it, but who knows if it's true or not.
Yeah. Might not be after this performance. That's what I'm going to say.
Yep. Yeah, so just another comment here. So I'm not sure about you guys, but I felt we were off from the start. Just didn't have that match day spark. Yeah, I mean, you could see from, the start, like when the Roosters got that early penalty to take a 2-0 lead, you think the Roosters, thought, look, this game was, we could take this game. And, I personally thought they showed that. So, Yoza is saying here, I think it's another comment about Sean Johnson, which is interesting. He's saying Johnson, although playing well, needs to spread the load to Walker. He's trying to do it all and rushing a lot of kicking options. Well, I'm going to have to disagree, actually. I'm going to have to disagree on that because Sean Johnson, I thought, I think it's up to Walker, Walker to also, get in and show some responsibility in attack and kicking. I mean, obviously Johnson's doing a lot of kicking in the game, but yeah, what are your thoughts on that hold of the ball? Because I think, the same thing I said at the start of the season with a lot of other games is Sean Johnson's doing a lot of the kicking in the game, and no one else is taking that responsibility. So I think you've got to share the responsibility sooner or later because you can't just, put all that pressure on Sean Johnson. And, I think the Roosters definitely applied a lot of pressure to his kicking out. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think I agree with both of you, both Yoza as well as yourself.
Yeah.
You guys make good points. I will say, though, and again, not to be that person, but this is what happens when you have injuries. Again, to go back to it, Walker's not really a kicker. So, Sean Johnson is obviously Sean Johnson is going to take the load. Absolutely. He is.
Yep.
It is what it is. And it's no one's fault. So, yeah, again, but it's Walker. Again, no one can be blamed here. This is a team here that's trying to work around some really bad injuries. I mean, you can point at Sean Johnson, you can point at Walker, but ultimately Tamari Martin's not playing. So what do you sort of do, right? I can't be too harsh on either. Personally, I won't be.
Yep.
I don't know, Fanatics, if you sort of see where I'm coming from, but yeah, Sean Johnson by default has to take all the load. By default, he has to, and I don't think it's his fault. And I don't even think he's saying give it to me. It's just what else can he do? Because Dylan Walker's not really a kicker anyway. So this is injuries for you, right? This is what it is.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming at here. And Danzo's saying here that, replying to Yoza, that's not on Johnson, needs more go forward from our props. We're just lacking strike right now. I do agree with you, Danzo, there on that one. I mean, I know a lot of people like to be quite critical of Sean Johnson when, the forwards aren't doing the job. When we're not getting the meters, it's, sometimes it's always on Johnson.
I mean, look, sorry to butt in like this, Fanatics, just quickly, but what forwards? We barely have any forwards. Again, it's just the ugly process of trying to navigate our way through a ton of injuries to players in key positions. It's just, what do you do? I mean, we talk about forwards going forward, but Toy Harris is not playing. Jazz Tabanga's not playing. Mitch Barnett's not playing. Right, he's another person that adds weight behind our team. Adam Fennell-Black at lock, right? It's just a whole mess. Suriname probably wouldn't be playing if the other players I'm named, on the team. So it's a whole heap of ugly, part on ugly, looking ugly. I don't know. You get what I mean. It's a mess, bro. It is ugly.
Yeah, and well said there. And Danzo is saying here, would give Zion a run before Gabba. He's regards to Five Stars comment saying that we should Gabba go. But I think Zion Mau, he's a very impressive young forward coming through the cup side at the moment. He's playing some great rugby league. So I think, you should give at least him a go somewhere in that 4-pack. I think
110%. Zion Mau was one for the future. He's got that dog in him. He's got that dog in him. He's a tough ball carrier. He's a young stud. He's ready. He's hot and ready. You know what I mean? So when do we chuck him in? I don't know. Is it panic buttons yet? Nah, not really. But yeah, you're right. I'll give him a hot crack. I mean, if he was named next week, being live, I would love to see Zion Mau live, bro, for sure.
Yeah, and looking at the injury list, I just want to give your thoughts on this at the moment. So we've got injury list of Mitchell Barnett, who's still recovering from that neck injury. I'm not too sure what is gonna, what is the case there when he's back. It's saying on the Warriors website it's to be confirmed. So I'm not too sure when he'll be back, but I don't know if it's Magic Round. Probably not Magic Round, I'd say. Probably still a while away. But you got, Rocco Berry, you got Harris. Look at that injury list. Valangi Kepu, Tamari Martin, Luke Metcalf, Chancellor Cook starters. Apparently, will be fit to play. Be able to come back into the side in round 10 for Magic round. So you got Jazz Savanga as well, and Tame to a Piki. So that's pretty much the injury list at the moment. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Looking at the injury list at the moment, and it's tough, obviously, but what are your thoughts on it as a whole? Because it's testing our depth. Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I think I sort of touched on it just briefly beforehand. It sucks. It just means that we're going to try and fill in players. Just almost for the sake of it now, almost for the sake of it. It's tough. I'll tell you what, though. I did now. I may be misreading this, but I think Toy Harris is a chance. I think that now I've said it. And our physio said it. Toy Harris, I believe, is a chance for next week. If not next week, the week after. So just hang on to your horses there, ladies and gentlemen, because he might be able to play next week. And if he plays next week, let's go, son. Let's go.
Well, I hope he's back for Magic Round, because then we get to go see him live play at Suncorp. So, yeah, hopefully. We need some players back. Obviously, we need. I don't think we can be relying on a lot of these other players. I mean, they're good players, they're solid players, but you can't just lose the likes of Harris and that and expect it to be, all good, because Toa Harris is, your key leader on the side, and Tavanga as well. I think he's been playing pretty well, and Tamari Martin. I think hopefully Tamari Martin's back for not too long, but obviously he's out for quite a bit there. So yeah, just going through comments here. So he says, this is regards to Zion Ma, who runs hard. One to look out for. Had a good game today, and Tohu's 1 to 2 weeks away, according to Danzo in the live chat.
Yeah.
So
1 to 2 weeks. So hopefully next week.
Yeah. So anything more you'd like to add on in regards to that Roosters game? Obviously, the score was 14-0. We didn't score a try in the game, which is frustrating and disappointing nonetheless. But anything more you'd like to add on to that? Holdable. Was there any play that stood out for you in particular? Because obviously there's got to be one standout, even though it was very tough.
Oh, look, I think for mine, look, some people may roll their eyes, but I actually didn't mind Josh Curran. I thought defensively he wasn't bad. Granted, one drop ball, I believe, but there was a passage in the game where I think it was the charge down or a kick from the Roosters, and obviously the Warriors were having to scatter all the way backwards, and it was basically a Josh Curran gather that obviously prevented anything more from happening. I thought him, and I thought Johnson too, and I thought him in patches. I didn't mind Dallin. That's probably the standout. What I will say though, if I can, is Mount Smart is supposed to be a fortress. It's supposed to be a place where teams go and they can feel the chill in their bones. It's supposed to be a place where when players think or know they're playing in Mount Smart, they should basically be rolling their eyes. You know what I mean? They should be basically saying, no, here we go again. But it just seems like to me, performances like this don't bode well, and I suppose don't give us that aura of being back at home. And I think that's what I'll say, is that just losing like that at home sucked. 0 points. Fanatics, I might be wrong, but I don't even think we got 0 points last year. I don't think we got 0 points last year. I think we actually scored a try in all our games. So I'm just going to leave that there and let you guys simmer on that.
Yeah. I mean, all I could say is sum up this game is, just disappointing at the end of the day. And, I just think that, we just weren't good enough, and the Roosters deserve their win. So, congratulations to the Roosters fans out there. Hainsey as well. Massive shout out to him. Looking forward to seeing Hainsey at Magic Round next week. First time. I've never met Hainsey before, actually, which is going to be my first time meeting him. So, looking forward to catching up with him. Big thanks to him for having me on this channel, to do a preview of the Warriors Roosters as well. And I've always been a fan of his content as well. He does some great work. So a massive shout out to him. But
He'll be joining us as well, Fanatics, just quickly. Sorry, he'll be joining us as well this week.
Yeah. Before we go, why don't you just plug what we're doing this week, and obviously got a show this weekend on your channel. So why don't you just plug that?
Okay, Norris. Yeah, look, thanks for that, Fanatics. Yeah, look, on the Hold the Ball channel on Tuesday, I've actually got Hammer and Rue jumping on for Locked On Warriors episode 11, where we'll be dissecting this game, previewing the Panthers game, as well as, I suppose, talking about Magic Round. And the day after that, ladies and gentlemen, I've actually got Fanatics as well as Hainsey joining me, where we're going to be talking about all the latest NRL news, the games, and again, talking about Magic Round. Again, it's just trying to get us all fizzed up for it. But in saying that as well, I actually do have so on Wednesday as well, literally, I'll be sleeping until 1 a.m., then having a 3-hour drive to Adelaide to catch a 6 a.m. flight. So it's all hands on deck after I've done my recordings there with Fanatics as well as Hainsey. So looking forward to it, I think.
Yes, Magic Round is exciting, and I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm looking forward to catching up with you and a lot of the fans and the content creators, YouTube content creators around. So it should be good, actually. Looking forward to being in Brisbane. So any fans who see us in Brisbane next week, make sure you come and say hello. I'm sure we won't be afraid to have a chat about footy and that, and chat about the Warriors. And obviously, I think Warriors fan meetup as well. Just a shout out to the Ruin Hammer and the Warrior Nation, who are running a event down there at the Lord Alfred Hotel on the Saturday afternoon. I believe it's 12 p.m. I believe it's 12 p.m. Correct me if I'm wrong there. 12 p.m. down at the Lord Alfred Hotel. That's not far from the Caxton Hotel. So they're running an event. They've got some past players, and as well as you get to meet up and take a photo with them as well. So yeah, looking forward to that event, especially. It's always one of the favourite events to attend as a Warriors fan, because you get to meet up with all the fans as well. So it's great that event as well. But Hold the Ball, thanks for coming on, for jumping on just for a bit of a brief, a little bit of a chat around the Warriors post game. Unfortunately, it's not the result we wanted at the end of the day, but it is what it is. Hopefully we can regroup, and obviously we've got the dreaded task of playing Penrith coming for a loss. So it doesn't get any easier, doesn't it? Then we got the Dogs and the bye. So yeah, hopefully we can at least get one win before the bye round. So thanks, Hold the Ball, for coming on. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and watching. And enjoy the other game, which is on right now. I believe Bulldogs are playing the Dragons right now, I think. So yeah, enjoy your rest of the week, everyone. Go the Mighty Warriors, still Warriors. I think this team, it's still, showing great effort, but we just got to execute in a few more areas of the game. But other than that, thanks for watching, everyone. Go the Mighty Warriors, and we'll see you all again soon. I'll see you actually all on Hold the Balls channel Wednesday night, and also Monday night I'm going to be doing a review and player ratings with Keith Whitelock from Everything Rugby League. So much tune in for that. Cheers, everyone, for watching. Have a good one.